an unseen terror that would later be known as the Halifax Slasher. It began with two women, Mary Gledhill and Gertrude Watts, who reported being attacked by a man wielding a mallet and flashing bright buckles on his shoes. The news of the attack spread rapidly, fueling fear and paranoia among the townsfolk. The alleged assailant was described as a phantom-like figure who would appear out of the shadows, attack unsuspecting victims, and then disappear without a trace. Over the course of 9 days, more victims emerged, each recounting stories of a mysterious man with a weapon, who had attacked them in the night. The town was plunged into a state of terror. The usually bustling streets of Halifax became eerily quiet as residents barricaded themselves in their homes after dark. The local newspaper, the Halifax Courier, fueled the hysteria with sensational headlines, and the local police force, overwhelmed by the situation, called in Scotland Yard for assistance. Despite the increased police presence and a reward for information, the attacks continued. Vigilante groups began to patrol the streets, armed with makeshift weapons, ready to protect their town from the unseen menace. The tension in Halifax was palpable, a town held hostage by fear, its streets echoing with whispers of the Halifax Slasher. But as the investigators dug deeper into the victims' accounts, inconsistencies began to emerge. Under intense questioning, one by one, the victims began to recount their stories. It became chillingly clear that there was no Halifax Slasher. The attacks were hoaxes, the wounds self-inflicted. The phantom menace that had gripped Halifax was nothing more than a product of mass hysteria. The Halifax Slasher, a phantom menace that gripped the town of Halifax in 1938, serves as a chilling reminder of the power of fear and mass hysteria. As we delve deeper into this harrowing event, we uncover lesser-known facts that add new dimensions of horror to this already terrifying tale. 1. The initial reports. The first reports of the Halifax Slasher came from two women, Mary Gledhill and Gertrude Watts. They claimed to have been attacked by a man with a mallet and bright buckles on his shoes. Their accounts were so convincing, they set off a wave of panic that would engulf the entire town. 2. The victims. Over a period of 9 days, at least a dozen individuals came forward claiming to have been attacked by the Halifax Slasher. Every new account added fuel to the growing hysteria, turning Halifax into a town living in perpetual fear. 3. The vigilantes. The growing fear led to the formation of vigilante groups. Armed with makeshift weapons, these groups patrolled the streets at night, further escalating the tension. The sight of these vigilantes prowling the streets, hunting for a phantom attacker, added a layer of surreal horror to the entire episode. 4. The media's role. Local newspapers played a significant role in escalating the panic. Sensational headlines and graphic descriptions of the alleged attacks fed the fear, turning the Halifax Slasher into a household terror. 5. Scotland Yard's involvement. The situation became so dire that the local police force had to call in Scotland Yard. The involvement of the nation's top investigative agency gave credence to the existence of the Halifax Slasher, further fueling the mass hysteria. 6. The confessions. The horror came to an abrupt end when, upon intense questioning, several victims confessed to having fabricated their stories. The wounds they sported were self-inflicted, a chilling testament to the lengths people would go to be a part of the unfolding drama. 7. The aftermath. Following the revelation, 5 people were charged with public mischief. The town of Halifax, having lived through days of terror, had to face the embarrassing truth that they had been victims of a hoax. The psychological impact of the incident, however, lingered, casting a long shadow over the town. The Halifax Slasher incident is a haunting tale of how an imagined terror can grip a community, turning ordinary people into victims and vigilantes. It serves as a stark reminder of the power of fear and the collective madness it can induce.